The fourth evidence that a chemical reaction has occurred is a temperature change. A temperature change is probably the most difficult sign that a chemical reaction has occurred, because a temperature change could be very subtle, and so you might need sophisticated instrument to detect that temperature change. Electronic thermometer, for example, or thermocouple that will detect a hundredth of a degree change. In fact, whenever you have bonds being broken and new bonds being formed, there's always a transfer of energy. When you break bonds in a chemical reaction, you actually require energy. Energy is added to break the bonds, and when you form bonds, energy is released from that system. So almost all chemical reaction will result in a change in energy, which results in a temperature change. Sometimes it's easy to detect that temperature change, sometimes it's very difficult. The example that I'm going to demonstrate that a chemical change occurs is the dissolving of ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride is a chemical that you find in these first aid packs, that if you break the pack, if you have like a bruise or a sprain, you break the pack, it becomes very, very cold. So I have some ammonium chloride. I'm going to add the ammonium chloride to water. And we're going to determine what temperature change occurs. I have some water, and I'm going to take an electronic thermometer. I'm going to turn on the electronic thermometer, and the reading that this thermometer gives me is 23.9. I'm going to take this electronic thermometer and stick it into the water, and you're going to see that the electronic thermometer reads 23.4. I'm now going to add some ammonium chloride to this solution. And the ammonium chloride should readily dissolve, and you can see right away that the temperature has dropped drastically. And that's an example by which a chemical reaction occurs as indicated by the sign that temperature has changed. Some chemical reactions will result in the temperature being lowered. Some chemical reactions result in temperature being increased. Whenever a chemical reaction has a decrease in temperature, we call that an endothermic reaction. An endothermic reaction is a reaction in which energy is put into that reaction in order for that transformation to occur. Because energy is put into the reaction, the environment gets colder because the energy from the environment is going into the reaction, and so the environment feels cooler, and that's what our thermometer measures. Again, that is called an endothermic reaction. Whenever a reaction releases heat, for example, if you're burning a candle or you're burning some gasoline and it releases heat, then the reaction causes that energy to distribute to its environment, and the temperature gets hotter, the temperature increases, and that's what we call an exothermic reaction. So in summary, when you carry out a chemical reaction and you want to see signs that a chemical reaction has occurred, look for these four signs. Formation of a precipitate. Remember, a precipitate is a solid residue that doesn't dissolve in water. It's a new chemical that results from the original reactants combining to form a new product. New color formation that isn't a result of the original colors of the original chemicals, but is the result of the new product that is being formed. The evolution of a gas, the new product evolves as a gas form, and what you should see is either smoke or some sort of gas evolution from the solution, or a temperature change. And a good way to determine whether a temperature change has occurred, if you don't have a thermometer, is just take the reaction mixture. It usually occurs in a test tube, and with your hands just feel whether that particular reaction is generating heat, exothermic, or absorbing heat, endothermic.